Hey, hey, welcome. Come on in. Merry Christmas week. If you celebrate Christmas. Merry Christmas. What like beautiful time of year. Putting some Northern Lights Black Spruce on, my absolute winter favorite. What are you guys putting on? What is your favorite? Hey, Sherry, Merry Christmas. Ah, what a beautiful time of year. I just said that, but like, I don't know. It's been like slow and intentional. I don't know. How is your week going? Is it just full of joy, full of magic, full of just being with people, our loved ones, right? Hey, Ashley, Kid Power. Oh, I need that one. I'm going to make a note because my ER order goes in and I forgot to add it last to Brooke's order, Kid Power. We just made like orange creamsicle, what was it? Chapstick, orange creamsicle chapstick. And it made me think of the Kid Power. Awesome. Yeah, I haven't even smelled it, Ashley. Like, I totally need to smell that. Come on in. We are going to be talking all about kids because this is, and not babies, but we're going to start out as babies. But this is always one of the biggest questions I get with, oils and oil routines. And it's one that just touches my heart because it's where I'm at in motherhood and how I started. And so I had a lot of the same fears, a lot of the same questions as you all probably do. And so whether you are a mother, grandmother, caretaker, aunt, wherever you are in that story of children's lives, you can definitely, take advantage of this and be able to share wisdom and knowledge and be able to use these things tonight. And so as we start, I'm just going to probably keep my eye over here to the right hand side and add people that are joining. I know it's Christmas week, so we might have a smaller group. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to keep this short and sweet tonight. But I want to be able to help you create independent young ladies and men, young gentlemen and young women, to create a routine and to be able to say, okay, my tummy hurts, and grab an oil. I have a boo-boo, grab an oil, right? Rather than what we probably grew up with in, the 70s, 80s, 90s, just, rushing to the doctor, rushing to grab something over the counter, which, I am going back and forth right now. I'm going to admit this. My youngest had a little accident, a little sledding accident, and her wrist is really bothering her. It's been 24 hours, and my husband's like, oh, it's just sprained, it's just sprained. Now, normally, back in my, when my babies were born, I would be like at the emergency room. But now I'm like, oh, we'll give it a couple days. It's just, I don't know, it's more just learning to trust your motherly instincts right now than, relying on, whether it's doctors or medicine or even oils, right? Trusting your instinct and going with that gut. So my story started, I started using oils, and my name is Sarah Stutzman. For those of you that are joining and maybe brand new, even if you're watching the replay, I am a wellness and oils educator and founder of Wellfolk Revival, and passionate about just raising up warriors, women and men that are you know, wanting to take ownership over their health and well-being. So welcome, welcome. Our story started, I started like when I was 16, just so intrigued by homeopathy, herbs, aromatherapy, and like I had books, and my mom would take me to Barnes and Noble, and I would just grab all these books. I would go to the farmers market, and there was a woman that I grew up with her daughter, and I was just always intrigued by her. She had oils, she had herbs, she grew her own herbs. I loved going to her house, and it just smelled like an herb shop. Like I was just intrigued. And fast forward, I went into teaching, I got my degree in teaching, but my heart is always in homesteading and growing food and growing herbs and learning how to care for our bodies in a traditional ancestral way. And so I used herbs and oils for quite a while. I used oils over the counter that were at the health food store, oils, wherever I could pick them up. Okay. And then when a friend of mine introduced me to Young Living, I was like, okay, yeah. It took me a year to finally jump aboard because I didn't understand. But once I finally fully embraced it and like immersed myself into it, I was like, this is exactly what I've been searching for. I had these aromatherapy books, and when Young Living was founded, um, you know, officially founded in 1994, I was like, that is exactly when I started this whole journey. And I was like, why didn't I know about this? And so I dove in head first and started sharing this with so many people. And the reason I dove in was because my friend introduced me to lavender, Young Living lavender, because my baby wouldn't sleep. And I was like, what is this? And I just kind of, put it on her feet. I didn't dilute it. She was like, I would say 10 weeks old. Yeah, she was like 10 weeks old. Didn't dilute it. I was like, yeah, let's put this on because, I've been using oils like, hey, it's just, you just use them. And so I didn't have that fear. But as I started diving in and learning more, I was like, oh, there is risks to this. Oh, I need to take some caution. Um, and as I dove in more, because of Sawyer, sometimes we just dive in because of reasons other than our own, right? It's because we are put in a place. How many of you started with oils because you were put in a place where you're like, okay, I surrender. I am going to try anything at this point. I am so fed up with where I'm at. I'm not getting answers. Right? I see you, Kylie, and you're nodding. I see a lot of you like, yep. Like you're like, okay, I'll try anything. What do I have to lose? Right. And that's where I was at. And when I smelled that lavender, I was like, what is this? This is like nothing else. And my baby slept. She wasn't as finicky and colicky, and like it just helped. And then she went on to develop, some digestive issues and some respiratory issues. It was just this, okay, respiratory issues, digestion. When you have respiratory issues that, you're put on antibiotics as a young baby, and then you also have digestion issues, those things just don't line up. And so we were having a lot of things that I needed to be proactive as a mom and really dive deep and research what is the root of her issue, and how can we start healing. So we started seeing a natural muscle response testing doctor, kinesthetic response testing doctor, whatever you call it. There's many names to it, to find the root cause. But I also used oils to help, as soon as I heard that cough, I would make my homemade chest rub. Now, mind you, she was a baby, but I had two older ones. And this is where the story starts. I don't even know, I should have wrote it down. Grace was 6 and Hannah was 3. And this is important because I'm not talking babies tonight. I'm talking your kids. Grace was 6, Hannah was 3, Sawyer was a baby when we started using Young Living oils and really diving in, not just like, oh, I'll use them for calming and relaxation, or, that's really what I used them for. I use them for bath salts. I use them for like, all the homemade things, kind of, just like the bath salts, the luxury spa things. That's what I really used them for. But now I'm diving deep. I'm diving deep because I needed some answers. And so my kids, and I want you to write this down because there is no like aha moment or like something that's going to make it click. Write this down. Learn together. You are going to learn this together with your kids. Invite them on this journey. So when I was making chest rub, homemade chest rub in my kitchen for Sawyer, they were right there with me, concocting and making things. And they're like, yeah, this is so cool, right? This was just normal to them. When they got a boo-boo, and I'm like searching through that desk reference, like, what do I use? What do I use? Or, for me, when I started, I had a little postcard. I know we send some fun things out to you guys, and I'm sure you use them, but like I had it on my refrigerator. It was a little tiny, like, starter kit pamphlet that this is what you use for XYZ, right? And so I was like, I have my starter kit. And this is why I think it is so, so, so important for you to start with a starter kit, for your friends to start with a starter kit. I know, people are like, oh, I just want this oil or I want that oil. They don't want to invest in the whole kit. This is the importance of that kit. It's an arsenal of oils for every system in your body. Would you agree? I see y'all nodding. Yep. Okay. It is an arsenal. And so I would go and I'd be like, okay, my kid just fell down, they have a boo-boo. And so I would be looking on that little chart, right? And it took me a little time, like, longer than I wanted it to be. But I was like, okay, lavender, put the lavender on the boo-boo, right? And they were learning with me. They were learning boo-boo, lavender, right? Bedtime comes and we're like, okay, let's rub down with the lavender oil and everyone flip over. Let me see your spines and your feet. And we'd like put the thieves oil on their spine and their feet. So they knew immune support, helping them stay healthy and well. Thieves, helping them sleep. Lavender. So they're learning as I was learning, they were learning. As you're learning, they are learning. Okay. And so, am I getting off track? No. Okay. So tools, some of the tools that we utilized a lot in our home, like I said, like as we learned together, were chest rubs. So winter's coming. Young Living has an amazing chest rub if you're not a DIYer. But I feel like when I started with the kit, the regular old kit. Now there's the whole Kid Sense kit and they have chest rub. They made it so easy for you guys. They made it so easy. And I'm sure a lot of you started with just the premium starter kit, and that is awesome. And that is okay because it's for every person then. It's not just for kids, it's for you and it's for your children. And so I was making chest rubs. I was putting lavender on their boo-boos and at bedtime to help them calm. Thieves every day in the morning. When I was changing diapers, I would put thieves, on Sawyer's feet. Everyone else would get it. So I'd made it a routine. I want you to think about this. We talked about routine before, and I think this whole month is about routine, really. I just want you guys to get in this rhythm. When you're in a rhythm, guess what? Your kids are in a rhythm. And so diaper changes. When Sawyer was going through respiratory things, when she had a cold during winter time, I knew diaper changes, I would put her chest rub on. And that chest rub contained, at the time, the kit had RC. So it was RC, it was, I had peppermint in there, I had lemon, I had lavender. I just dumped oils, guys. I didn't have fear. Like, I just didn't. I was like, yeah, that's not too strong. I would smell it and put it on, okay? And we're going to talk about the oops moments at the end and the, you know, they survived this, they survived that, and oh, mommy, this is burning, and all those. We'll talk about that at the end. Because I know the fear. Like I remember crawling into Sawyer's room and being like, does it smell too, like, is it too menthol? Is she still breathing? I remember those moments, and now it's just like, we'll put the oils in and they're fine. You know, like I don't even worry about it. So you'll get to that point. So the other tools were bath salts. You know, I would put oils in bath salts and help them relax at night. And a lot of times that was lavender and cedarwood. So we go back to the same oil. So find 5 oils that you can get really comfortable with, and that your kids can get comfortable with, and that they can utilize, that you have total confidence that they can use on their own because you have equipped them, and that they know, oh, belly hurts, I'm going to use this oil. Oh, boo-boo, this oil. And so we also need to think of those things and think fast. So the first 2 weeks of December in our group, we did the what was it? The oils trivia. And the whole point of that was because I wanted you guys to think fast. I wanted you to think, oh, what would I do in this situation? So some think fast things, and maybe we'll have to do more of that in January, like think fast. What would you do in this situation, right? Because that's where we need to be with our oils. We need to be so comfortable with, okay, I have this skin issue. I have this stomach issue. I have, nosebleed. I have XYZ. What do I use? And so we need to be comfortable and be able to think fast. I remember at the beginning, I utilized that desk reference all the time. Like it was every single day. And if you're not sure of the desk reference, I have it next to my chair in the living room, because guess what? That's where I do a lot of my reading, and that's where I usually go to when I need it. But the little desk reference, it's a little blue book. And it's what I utilized. I'd be like, oh, I have this happening. What do I use? My kid has this. What do I use? Earache. Guess what I'm using? And so that's where we need to be. So it comes down to us as mamas, caretakers, grandmas, aunts, to be able to think fast for our kids. And guess what? They're going to be able to think fast too, because they see you doing it. So learn together. They're going to see you using the tools, and then you're going to learn together. And then I want you to set them up for success. So type in the age of, if you have children, and if you're joining tonight, wanting to learn about your children or the children in your life, type in the comments, how old are they? That way I kind of have a age range of who I'm talking to here. Because we want to set them up for success. Because now my children Gracie is 11, Hannah is 9, and Sawyer is 6. Okay. So awesome. We have 10, 4, 7, 9, 6, 11 months. Okay. And I love it. The older ones can help the younger ones too. That's what I'm finding out. Okay, 2, 2.5, 2 to 5 years old. Okay, perfect for learning, because our brains are they're neuroplastic, right? Like we can change our brain pathways at any age, but when they're little, they can really grasp this and really understand. And so we want to set them up for success. So oils for everyday use, have them out. Oils that you know that you feel safe and confident, have them out. We have stations, like I shared with our healthy habits, we have stations all over our house, okay? I have oils by every diffuser. I have oils in my room that are for my purpose, but also for bedtime, that they know, and they, like the ones that can't read, they know the labels, and Sawyer goes, Mom, is cedarwood CED? I'm like, yep, that's it. Like they know the colors, which is awesome that our labels are color coded. So they can correlate that to, okay, well, this has to be this, and they'll check with you first. But you know, so have them out in certain locations. Um, and for Grace, who is 11, she has a little oil station in her room. She has a little oil shelf. She has her diffuser set up on, like, she has an old rustic like piece of like tree, like a log, next to her chair in her room where she reads, and she sets that up. Like, she has a little station. Hannah has one too, but she tends to go to Gracie's room because Gracie kind of houses the like bedtime oils. And then I have some in my room. Sawyer has some, but not so much. I mean, she's 6 and she's just like, she follows her sister's leads. But my room and Gracie's room is kind of like the central hub of like having those oils. And so for my girls, think about a time in the day. For them, it is at night. Nighttime is where they find their routine. Okay, so start with a central location and a time of day. They use their oils most at night. Yeah, that's what I would say. Most at night. Gracie's now, who is like almost, she's 11, almost 12. And so she has her routine, like she has her roller bottles for perfume, and she has her hair spritz and like all that stuff that she's already made. So when you have older girls, and this is the beauty of starting them young, because then they know like, oh, I want to use this instead of this. And if something comes into the house and they're like, oh, that does not smell good, and they know that it doesn't make their body feel good. Even Sawyer, she's 6, and sometimes, we'll get hand-me-down clothes from cousins, and that smell of laundry fabric softener lingers. Like, we wash it and we wash it and we wash it, and then she's like, Mom, I don't want this. You can put it on the donate pile. I hate doing that, but it hurts her belly. Like, she's like, it makes me feel bad. I want to puke, Mom. Like, it makes her feel that bad because she grew up without all those fragrances. And for her to smell those fragrances, she's like, it does. And I have to trust that. Like, they know their body. So go with that, mamas. Go with it. And those of you that have gotten away from fragrances, you know how that makes you feel. It gives you a headache, makes you nauseous. And so for a little one to know that, like, how empowering is that? And so it's not just like oils that they're using for routine for body support and sleep and immune system, but it's also empowering to know that they're using hand soap without any chemicals. Or when they do use like hand soap out in public, they're like, oh, that doesn't smell too good, Mom. And it makes me feel sick, right? So it's that too. That's part of the routine. But I'm getting off topic here, but it's still on topic. Roller bottles, having roller bottles for them to help them feel independent with their oil usage. So when you're making oil bottles for your 2-year-old, you're going to dilute accordingly. And I honestly can't tell you because I don't follow the rules there. I did it first. I would go, for a 2-year-old, if you want to be really scientific with it, go with the Young Living Kids Sense line. It's already diluted for you. All you have to do is pop a roller top on there. Young Living has the roller fitments. It's already diluted, and you can use it safely. But what I would normally do is, just like maybe 10 drops of an oil in a 10 ml bottle and fill it with a carrier oil. And that's it. And those of you that joined tonight, I'm actually going to, towards the end, I'm going to put a link. If you fill out the survey, I'm going to send you some recipes for you and your little ones, so you can have that on hand. But I would say for your older ones, I would say like 5 and above, you can probably do like 20 drops in a 10 ml. If it's like thieves and oregano, some of those stronger oils. Like I said, when Sawyer was a baby, I seriously, I just put lavender on her feet. I did not dilute lavender. But oils like RC and peppermint and raven, those oils that have menthol, like the menthol oils, you definitely want to dilute. Even though they help with respiratory system and they help open the airways, If it's too strong, it's going to do the reverse. It's going to constrict the airways. Think about when you smell, you put some peppermint in, hot water and you smell it. That's really overpowering for an adult. Think about for a baby. So we really want to be careful with the menthol oils. Like I said, peppermint, wintergreen, the blends that have those oils in, Raven, RC. We want to go, it's okay to use them, but use them appropriately. Dilute them accordingly. So in a diffuser for a little one, 2 and under. So a diffuser, usually we put about 8 drops of oil in. I would probably put 1 or 2 in a basin of water. That's like a diffuser basin, okay? And definitely put that diffuser in the other, like don't put it next to their bed, maybe put it over, the other side of the room. Start there, and then you can slowly maybe move it closer and see how they're doing with it. Same with just diluting too. Rule of thumb, start low with your drops of oil in your roller bottle and go slow. See how your children react. My daughter Hannah, he's my middle child, we have a wood stove, and every winter she would get this like barky, hacky cough. It was this dry cough, and it would always happen in the middle of the night, and it would wake me up, and it would keep me up, it would keep her up, and it was just no fun. Winter was no fun. And what I would do is I would put RC in her diffuser, and it would clear it up. Like she wouldn't, like as soon as I would put that in, good to go. So I would do it right before bed, and then when the diffuser would run out, it'd be the middle of the night, I'd put more in, and then she was okay. If I put oils on her, she would get a rash. It was like this prickly little red rash. And so I knew I could not put oils on her. I could put them like, maybe on her pillow or on her bed sheets or her little lovey blankie that she had, but so that she could smell them and in her diffuser, but I couldn't put them on her. She is still very sensitive, but I can now put them on her. She just had very sensitive skin. It wasn't that she was allergic or anything to it. She was just more sensitive than my other children, and she still is. So know your children, okay? So for carrier oil, I use fractionated coconut oil. I actually just got some today out of my garage. I get an organic brand off of Amazon. Young Living has a brand. It's called V6. I don't know. I like just a fractionated coconut oil. Yes. The asthma. It's that smell. And so it's Sawyer. When she was a baby, when it was cold, I just remember going outside in the fall. Anytime we would go outside from like fall until early spring when the wind would blow, as soon as she was outside, she would get this asthmatic, like deep, croupy cough. Sometimes she wouldn't be able to breathe. And so I always had to have my chest rub on hand, RC, and all my tools, like all my tools. So have your tools ready for your kids so they're growing up knowing these things, right? So have roller bottles ready. And so the recipes I'm going to send you, we'll have some roller bottle recipes. My daughters love to have roller bottles and things that they can just go to. And they're always like, Mom, can we make roller bottles? And then this will also lead into supplement routines. So my kids, 12, no, not 12, almost 12, 9 and 6, they're in charge of the supplements in the morning. I'm like, hey, get the supplements out. They pour the Ningxia, they get the vitamin C, they get the fish oils, and they set them out. If it wasn't for my kids, I probably would forget to take my supplements. So this pours over into just even, the supplements and healthy eating, and being cautious and knowing like, hey, we shouldn't be having that much sugar, or hey, we shouldn't be, using XYZ in our house. So their favorites, I'm going to tell you, so that way here's some safe ones, and here are ones that I quizzed them tonight. I was like, okay, what can I tell these ladies? What are your favorite oils, girls? So Gracie, She loves lavender. We go through so much stinking lavender. Sometimes I come into her room and I'm like, whew, I can't even breathe. Like it's just, and I say to my husband, I'm like, I go through so many oils. And he's like, babe, it's not perfume. It's not things that, are harming their body. I'm like, okay, okay. So I remember being that tween girl and I'd be spraying exclamation perfume all over me. It was like a chemical bomb went off in my room, right? They're using lavender, Young Living lavender, and it's okay. So it's okay. So lavender, thieves, when they're not feeling well, that's what she said, and Immu Power. They all said Immu Power. And that's pretty much because that's what I put on them. I have my Immu Power roller and my Thieves roller. They're both diluted because they're strong oils. And I'm like, okay, spines, feet, back of neck. Actually, it's usually behind their ears and neck. I actually have one in the van. I have a Thieves and an Immu Power. And before we go into places or, if we're going to be with people, I pass it around the van. It's like an oil party. I'm like, put your oils on, and they put them all on. So lavender, Thieves, Immu Power. Hannah, she had a list. Lavender, cedarwood, and these are all really for bedtime. Peace and calming, she likes. Immu Power again, and cypress. She puts cypress on her belly to help her at nighttime so she doesn't have to get up and go to the bathroom. I know a lot of women in here also use cypress at nighttime. It helps just control the bladder. And if you have young ones that wet the bed, that's a good one to control the bladder. And it smells really grounding and calming. It's a biblical oil. And when they have it on, it is calming. And so Hannah even said, sometimes I like to just put it on my pillow and it helps me sleep. So she's just become accustomed to it. She puts it on her bed, but it also helps her calm her mind and sleep. So that's when she puts on her pillow. So yeah, cypress. Cypress, I'm not quite sure why that does that. I know cypress helps with circulation. So it could, help with that water retention too, or water, like it just controls things. But it's crazy how cypress does that. So yeah, if you have little ones, and it's a mild oil, and maybe Denise, you could share, do you know why that works?
I don't know why it works, but someone told it to me, and it's from the first day. I do it every single night, and I used to get up every 2 hours after menopause, and now I just get up once during the night. So it's been a game changer, helping me to sleep through the night. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, do we know why some of these oils work? I mean, they just do. It's amazing.
Yeah, crazy. Thank you, Denise. Like seriously, like Valor on your big toe to help you stop snoring, like that. Like what the world? And it works. Okay, if you didn't know that, Valor on your big toe to help you stop snoring. So yeah, I don't know. It's the miracle and the miraculous way that these oils work. So yeah, so that was Hannah's, and then Sawyer. She follows what her sisters do. So she'll put some lavender in her diffuser, and they have autonomy over filling their diffusers. They fill their diffusers at nighttime. Now, Sawyer doesn't always. Hannah doesn't always. Gracie always fills her diffuser. But they will use oils in different ways. Like I said, Hannah puts her oils on. She'll drop them on her pillow. Sawyer sometimes puts them on her, in her diffuser, but she's not quite in a routine. She's 6. But she knows, when I asked her, she said joy right away. That is the one oil that helps her emotional, like when she is melting down, she knows that is one that will help her feel better. Crazy, right? And this is where you got to ask your kids, take the oils to them and be like, which one do you love? What oils do you like the smell of? Find out what they like. And then when they're melting down, you put the oils all over you and you give them a big hug and you hold on tight. And so that physical touch and the smell, so those 2 sensory things, that's going to start that like, oh, I love that smell. It makes me feel better. Mom's holding me tight, even though I hate her right now, kind of feeling. They're going to love you, right? Um, it gives them that calming, grounding feeling, that sense. And so I did that for her with Joy because she loved Joy. And that's what I did with her. Peace and calming, same thing. And now she loves those. So it helps them translate that feeling of love and the smell of love. For her, she also loves tummy jies and digies. Even though they hate the smell of digies, they know it works. Digies really works. Tummy jies is a little more comforting, so they roll it on their belly. And yeah, RC. And oh, and she said sniffles. Sawyer said sniffles. That's like her favorite. And that's a kid sense line. Tummy jies is a kid sense line. And so that's what, when I quizzed them, I was like, those are their favorite. And Hannah loves grapefruit in her water. So I have lemon out, I have lime, I have grapefruit, and they'll put a drop in. They make like Ningxia drinks. Today they mix Ningxia and seltzer and sulfurzyme. So they're like, they concoct things too. And I have complete confidence that they can do this because I've trained them. We learned together. Okay. So raise them up, learn together. Do not have fear. Do you know what I fear most? I fear over the counters more than anything. Did you ever flip those bottles over? I remember having to give my kids ibuprofen, baby ibuprofen, baby Tylenol. I'd flip the bottle over and I'd read the instructions, and it was this like list of warnings. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'd like give it to them before bed, and then I'd have to like creep in. Are they still alive? Are they okay? Like, that freaked me out. I didn't like doing that. And knowing what I know now, like how it really impacts their liver and their kidneys, the amount of ibuprofen and Tylenol kids get before they're 2, and the way that it impacts and deteriorates their liver and their kidneys. Holy crap, research that. Like I feel more confident and safe with these oils than I do over the counter. Obviously, we have to use caution. We have to go slow, dilute, because a little tiny bit goes a long way with these oils. Okay, I can't stress that enough until you feel really confident with them. Okay, and so two last things. Role of grandparents and caretakers. I love that my mom uses these in her home. And so when I go to my mom's house, I don't have to pack my oils, even though I have some in my bag. But she has oils out everywhere. And my kids know, like, oh, we go to Mamaw's house. I don't have to pack my oils if I stay overnight because Mamaw has them. So she has them. So they're going from house to house with the same routine, right? They know the routine. Okay. So don't doubt yourself as a caretaker or a grandparent or an aunt. Like, it's a comfort thing. They know this is normal. Okay. And then the last thing, our mishaps and our oops, and then I'll answer some questions. Having the oils out for them to be able to use. I remember they were with a babysitter and I came home and they made roller bottles with blue tansy and jasmine. And I'm like, okay, so more of like the expensive oils, but I'm like, no, like that's a mishap, right? They don't need to be using all those like really crazy expensive oils. Lavender on the cat. They're like, oh, the cat needs to sleep good. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she smells. Is he gonna be okay? Like I was worried about that. I'm like in my animal desk reference. And it was like, okay, he'll be okay. He lived. Like the cat smelled like a lavender sachet. All of you that like are worried about your cats and it was okay. He lived. Oils in the eyes. Yes, we've had oils in the eyes. Okay. What you do with oils in the eyes, you just take some coconut oil and you just douse your eyes. Okay. That's happened to adults too. Okay. That burns, mom. Mom, that really burns. You just take some coconut oil and you put it on whatever oil you put on. If you put thieves on, even if it's diluted and they're saying it burns, just put some coconut oil on. If you see that rash, if it gets like a little prickly rash and they're like, it itches, it burns, that was Hannah. I stopped and I didn't put any more oils on. I had her drink lots of water. We didn't do oils on the skin. We did them in the diffuser. I would drop them on the crown of her head, or put them like, on her lovey blankie. I would just kind of rub them on, right? Um, so yeah, that's really like, I don't know. Now when my kids say it burns, I'm like, it's working. I'm that confident now. I'm like, don't worry, it's burning. It's burning, but it's working, right? Even though it's diluted, they're like, eh. Anyway, I do get the like eye rolls now because my one is almost 12 and she's like, I don't need that, even though she does use her oils. So you will get a little pushback once they get to their like preteen, teen years. But yeah, what are your questions? What are your concerns as you are setting your children up for independence with oils? Put them here. Yay, your new granddaughter loves her seedlings come. She goes to sleep. Yes, your kids are gonna find what they love. And the Kid Sense line is just incredible to help them do that. So even if you do have the oils from the starter kit, we dove into the Kid Sense line a little later, and that's where we found our love for tummy jies and snifflies. So yeah, your kids are gonna, and my daughter Gracie loves Sacred Mountain too. I'm surprised she didn't mention that one, but I don't know, when you're putting your oils on in the morning, they're gonna be like, Mommy, can I put oils on too? And so it's just part of like, you're doing your thing, and guess what? They're following suit. So it's just learning together. I can't stress that enough. So I'm gonna put this link here. If you go ahead and click that link, fill it in, and within 24 hours, I will send you some fun recipes for you and your kiddos to make together. Do this together. I know for Christmas, oh wait, Sherry Evans, I was just sharing that with you. I don't know why this does this sometimes. I want everyone in the meeting to get this. Okay, now everyone should get it. Okay, this Google form, fill this out. Within 24 hours, I will send you these recipes. Thank you so much for joining tonight. And, as we are entering the Christmas week, and, I know for us, we were making a lot of homemade gifts, and that's one way you can get your kids involved. Making things for your home, making things for your friends, getting their friends involved, inviting their, preteen, friends over and having a girls' night. Mommy play date and make some Play-Doh. Whatever age they are, they can get involved. So thank you so much for joining, and have a very, very, very Merry Christmas. If you have questions, you can always reach out personally to me. Have a great night, guys. Have a Merry Christmas.